Welcome to Inside Sim Racing and our Gran Turismo 6 Gamescom 2013 report. I'm Darin here with our European correspondent, Andreas Nie. How you doing, Andreas?
I'm great, hi.
Never mind, I know how he's doing. This is number 6. I think this is our 6th show for Gamescom, and this is probably going to be our big daddy because, Andreas, let's be honest, you're a big fan of Gran Turismo.
Yeah, that actually got me into the show in the first place back in 2010 when GT5 was about to launch, and you guys reported from E3 saying, hey, we've got nobody to go to Gamescom. If somebody wants to go, get in touch with us. And so I did, and 4 years later, I'm still around, so that's really cool.
So what is that sitting next to you?
Well, of course, this is the Thrustmaster F1 wheel, but this one, that's a real beauty.
That's one of your prized possessions now, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's actually the lid of the press kit that they handed out during the press launch event in Madrid in 2010. So there's a GT5 press kit lid, and I don't know if you can see that, but this white stuff here that is scribbled all across this, that's actually Kazunori Yamauchi's signature.
So, and I know you're very proud to have got that. Now, you had an opportunity to get this in the past, and you kind of blew it. But then you said to yourself, I'm bringing this lid with me, and I'm getting a signature this time, and you got it.
Yeah, right. Readers from GT Planet might remember that I was there with Jordan from GT Planet, and that was the first time he got to meet Kaz. So he was all like, oh, excited, and you know, I hadn't met him before at Gamescom, so I was cool, you know.
Yeah, me and Kaz go way back.
Yeah, right. No, but you know, so I was more focused on you know, seeing Jordan being all excited, and when they came around and asked if we want to have signatures, you know, he was like, oh yeah, that's really cool, and mine was already packed away, so I didn't really bother, and I thought it was cool. An hour after that, I was hitting myself because I thought, how stupid can you be to pass up an opportunity to get a signature from Kazunori-san himself on this cool press kit? And I was hitting myself even more when I realized that it's the same lid that they used on the signature edition for GT5, which of course I got. So I could have gotten a signature edition with a signature from Kaz himself, but I didn't. 4 years later...
I still think what you got is very cool, though.
Yeah, four years later, so this year he's back in Germany, of course, introducing GT6. And after the press event that I attended, I walked up to him and humbly asked him for a signature. And he was really cool about it. And he actually took great care to make the signature really look cool. So he just didn't scribble his name on it and said, here you are. But, you know, he set it down and very carefully put his signature on it. So, you know, Kaz is a great guy.
Very cool. That's a great story. All right, well, let's talk Gran Turismo 6.
All right.
The title that you probably were looking most forward to seeing. And let's start by asking you, did it meet your expectations?
I would say it does. Of course, I haven't really played the whole game. And so the big thing is, what is new in GT6? How is it different from GT5? Now, of course, the step from GT4 to GT5 was huge. You know, new platform, thousands of cars, or over 1,000 cars, you know, new graphics engine, etc. The online capabilities, course maker, etc. You know, a whole bunch. Now, GT6 will not be as big of a step as it was from 4 to 5. And I didn't expect it to be because, you know, when they came out with GT5, it had taken them a long time to finish that title. We all know that. And when they came out with it already, they said the next one will not take as long as GT5. So I already knew that GT6 is more of a refinement, building on stuff that, you know, didn't go as well, didn't make it into GT5. So it's gonna be a polished version of GT5, at least that's what I'm expecting, with more premium cars, more tracks, refined more career mode, better online capabilities, better course maker, but it's not going to be this huge thing, because I'm sure they're keeping that for the next one that's coming out for a PS4.
Probably. So what do you think the biggest change or addition is going to be to Gran Turismo 6 over 5?
Well, Kazunori said in the press event they had, and they said he was going through great length through these Vision Gran Turismo cars. They asked manufacturers what their vision of a cool prototype, next big thing might be. You kind of think of the Red Bull X1 or X 2010 racer, or the one from Citroën, this electric supercar thingy, in the lines of that. So we get really crazy cars and more refined studies, prototypes, but it's gonna be interesting what manufacturers will have to be, and those cars will be made available throughout the next year. So they won't be there right now, and not at launch, but they will be spaced out across the coming year.
Very cool. Now, they mentioned something, correct me if I'm wrong, about some enhancements to the sounds.
Yeah.
The sound engine. Did you hear the difference? Did you hear a difference in the sound engine?
I was able to hook up my recording device to one of the TVs they had on the show floor. I was able to grab sounds directly from the game. It doesn't sound as different as it does on a GT5 right now. But that is still not final code, and it's coming off simple headphone connection, so to speak. So it really has to be taken as with a lot of not even a grain of salt, a whole big bag of salt.
And you know what? And you always have to look at titles like that when they're being shown at a trade show, that there's going to be changes, additions for the most part.
Sure.
I mean, look at Gran Turismo 5. They were making changes up until fairly recently,
right,
with patches. So now you found out some pretty cool information about the course maker.
Yes.
And the size of the world that you'll be able to build these courses in.
He mentioned the course maker when he was introducing the different sceneries, and then the Spanish town of Ronda is one of the sceneries that will be available for photo shoots, and that one is also available in the course maker. So I asked a question, what the difference are between GT5 course maker and GT6. And what he said, translator son said, was the course maker is going to be an area of 100 by 100 kilometers in size. At the time I didn't think much about it, but that is Hawaii.
Yeah, that's a very large area.
It's humongous. And when I reported that back to GT Planet, everybody was going wild. They said, oh, you must have misheard that. That cannot be right. 10 by 10 kilometers, 100 square kilometers, that sounds about right. But 100 by 100 kilometers is humongous. That is not correct. So I went back, I had an audio recorder with me, so I recorded the audio and listened to that specific part again. And in fact, he does say 100 by 100 kilometers. Still, everybody was saying that cannot be right. Translator son got it wrong. He probably means, 100 square kilometers. It must be wrong, whatever. It wasn't really confirmed. So the next day, after having read all these doubts and questions, and I had them as well on GT Planet, I went back to the hotel, because they were not sitting in a business area, but in a hotel close to the fairgrounds. I went back there to find somebody from Sony to actually get that confirmed or denied or whatever, clarified at least. And coincidentally, Kazunori san and translator san were both on the terrace. There was like a back area with a restaurant, the outside area. He was there and enjoying his day off, basically, and talking to some people. They didn't look like being in an interview kind of situation. So I took the courage to approach them carefully and, kind of made eye connection with Translator Son and said, approach them. And he was like, oh yeah, come over. And I said, listen, you really stirred up something with your 100 by 100 kilometer comment there, because everybody is going wild about that, saying that cannot be right. And he's like, oh yeah, it's right, it's right. I said, that is a huge area. And he said, yeah, it's really big. And I said, okay, you don't mean all the different locations combined will be summed up to 100 by 100 kilometers? He said, no, it's just one thing. And I said, oh, that is humongous. That is unbelievable. Nobody is believing it on the forums. Everybody's having big discussion about it. And then he turned to Kazunori and told him this story, and he laughed and he said, yeah, that's what I got translated back. It actually got confirmed. In fact, Kazunori-san said, at this point right now, they are not 100% sure if it really is going to be 100 by 100 kilometers. Maybe it's going to be 50 by 50 kilometers. But that's humongous as well. It's half of Hawaii, so that's still humongous. And in fact, Kazunori-san said you will be able to fit in the Nürburgring 10 times into this area.
That's amazing. That is really amazing.
It is.
And it's going to be amazing. I mean, I don't know how the PS3 is going to handle that much location.
But yeah, they must have pulled some trick out of their head to actually do stuff like that. And I don't know how freely you can actually lay out your tracks. I mean, with the current course maker, it's more of a predefined process, and you can only tweak around certain aspects of the track. I don't know if you will be able to actually draw out tracks. It needs to be seen, but just the hint of the possibilities of this really gigantic area that you can use for racing is just mind-blowing. So that's going to be really cool.
And then what about the multiplayer side of things? Aren't they changing that a little bit? They're making some enhancements to that side?
Yeah, they actually covered that quite a bit as well, saying that they were taking back feedback via the forums and also especially YouTube, and were really interested to see how people were working around the limitations that the current multiplayer system has, and try to set up leagues and races and race days with the limited amount they have. And so they took all that feedback and tried to work towards that and make it way more easier to set up your own race, set up your own leagues, and set up your own race days with your friends and everybody, and be more refined with what you can actually do with a multiplayer. So that's also something where they improved on the whole experience, and it's going to be interesting how that will be working.
Definitely, because Gran Turismo is a great platform for league racing and that type of stuff. So, be very interesting to see how that plays out. Right. Anything else on Gran Turismo 6?
It's kind of a side note, and it's not really high on the gamers' things that they want to know. But he touched on the movie. They're gonna make a Gran Turismo movie, and when I first read it, the rumors about it, I thought, nah, who wants to make a movie about that? And in fact, he was asked about the movie, and it was surprising to me that he actually answered it in a longer extent, because he said they were approached for like 7 years in the past now to make a Gran Turismo movie, and no concept really was good enough for them. But now they have something that captures the spirit of Gran Turismo, namely the progression of one of the drivers participating in the GT Academy.
Oh, okay.
So basically, you can expect kind of like a biopic for the life of Lucas Ordonez, who's the first one who won the GT Academy, and actually Kazunori-san said he can imagine this movie opening up with a mom being really angry at her son who is always constantly gaming and stuff, and the movie ending with the kid having gone through the GT Academy winning a championship. So it was not only him, acknowledging the movie, but actually kind of getting into the plot, which to me shows that they're going through some great lengths to make this enjoyable movie. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that will be interesting, and they're taking it along the lines of the GT Academy, which is a cool story in itself. I mean, I've watched some of the the reality type shows that they've had, here in the States. Like when Brian Heitkotter, the guy from the U.S. who he interviewed. So I really followed his whole story, and I still do. I have him I'm friends with him on Facebook. He's racing for Nissan, locally here. So he may not have got to the level of a Lucas Ordonez, but he's out there racing, doing what I dream of doing.
Right.
So now, on a scale from 1 to 10, and we're going to wrap things up here. Scale from 1 to 10, how much are you looking forward to Gran Turismo 6?
I would say a mild 11.
I had a feeling you were going to say something above 10. Well, Andreas, anything else before we go on Gran Turismo 6? I'm looking forward to it too. I really am. I really enjoyed 5. So.
Yeah. Well, as I said, there's a lot of expectation for that title, and I'm sure not every expectations will be met. But it's going to be interesting what they're going to put into the game to make it more enjoyable, and with the career mode and the improvements they're going to make on that side. So it's going to be an enjoyable title, I'm sure of that, and it's going to be very interesting what they will have in store for PS4.
I agree. All right, Andreas, well, thank you for that coverage on Gran Turismo 6, and that's going to wrap up our Gamescom coverage of Gran Turismo 6. We hope you've enjoyed it. And again, for Andreas Nie, I'm Darin Ganji. We'll see you guys next time.